Welcome to the newest episode in an ongoing Legendarium series about the worst jobs in history. In this installment, Ancient Greece Part 2, we will talk about the work of beekeepers, cooks, archer-patrolmen, mercenaries, and jewelers. Beekeepers were respected as important professionals in ancient Greece, likely since honey was the only sweetener available for food at the time. They transported their hives by boat or mule to places with abundant flowers. These tall domed hives were made from bark, cork, and dried dung daubed with mud and leaves. Beekeepers fed their bees raisins, dried figs, or wool soaked in raisin wine. The beekeepers had some strange beliefs about their bees, including that the hive centered on king bees rather than queen bees, and that the insects magically sprang from rotting animal carcasses, which is why Greek beekeepers surrounded their hives with dead animals. They reaped 2 honey harvests a year, but if the bees fed on the nectar of poisonous flowers, they made toxic honey that could sicken or even kill the beekeepers' customers. A cook for a family of means would often be a slave. In the early days, they made simple fare like bread and olive oil. Yet, as Greece entered its golden age during the 5th century BC, recipes became more elaborate. Promising kitchen slaves went to culinary schools, and the best won their freedom and could go into business for themselves. Of course, they had to work for those rewards. Spreads could include peacock eggs, wine-soaked bread, and songbirds roasted on open spits. More exotic recipes included square loaves made from oil, cheese, and anise, and one popular recipe was a sauce made from honey, milk, cheese, chopped herbs, and dried blood. In the year 490 BC, the city of Athens purchased 400 burly Scythian archers and put them to work as the city police. Their dress, including trousers, exotic headgear, and bare feet, made them stand out among the Athenians. They managed crowd control during public gatherings, served as night watchmen, and rounded up slackers trying to avoid the public assemblies which governed the city. During assemblies, the Archer-Patrolman went through the market with red dye, marking the tunics of delinquents who refused to show up and would then be forced to pay fines. In time, they became a professional corps, joined civic life, and even elected a captain who got the catchy title Lord of the Bow. When we think of Greek soldiers, we often think of farmers leaving home to serve in the phalanx for summer campaigns. Yet men who became experienced enough in war could simply go wherever a king needed accomplished killers. Mercenaries often specialized based on their homeland. The best archers came from Crete, and the best slingers came from the islands of Rhodes. If unemployed, they simply turned bandit. Around the year 280 BC, a group of mercenaries called the Mamertines seized the city of Messana in Sicily and would later help to start the First Punic War between Rome and Carthage. Greek trade grew faster than Nero's waistline during the career of Alexander the Great. This meant a high demand for jewelers who could turn exotic metals and stones into jewelry for the wealthy. First, the jeweler would hammer gold into a thin sheet, cut it into strips, and then twist them into spiral wires or wavy ribbons. With wood, bone, and metal tools, they cut patterns and designs into the jewelry. Gem engravers added further designs to diamonds and lapis lazuli mounted in the jewelry. If they made a signet ring for an official or an aristocrat, they would use this to stamp documents with a wax seal, or even the clay stoppers in amphorae filled with valuable goods such as wine or olive oil. That wraps things up for this episode of the Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.